All right. Now let's share this. What? What are you talking about? I do too. Well, I'm just going to copy the link. Well, do this. I hope that y'all can hear me okay. The picture, the thumbnail's wrong. I'll fix the thumbnail once I'm done with the stream. Okay. All right. Yay. Yeah, distraction. Okay, so I have a video about my November setup. I just haven't uploaded it yet because I haven't had internet for 24 hours at least. And I just got the internet back about an hour ago. So I can't stay on for very long, but I'm going to try to stay on for at least 45 minutes or so. But I wanted to show you, I'm back in the Hobonichi. I'm still using my my journal and stuff. I'm doing things a little bit different. I'm trying to, I think I'm gonna watercolor this while we're in here maybe, and I have some stuff to do. So okay, everybody can hear me just fine. Okay, good. All right. I need to edit. Okay. All right. So, I decided I got the new Hobonichi in, and I did the AVEC for next year, and I'm going to use, I have some notebooks that I only used a little bit of, but I decided to, I've been using this for a few days. I was doing stuff in it, kind of going back to what feels like the norm, simplifying my getting back into my comfort zone, but at the same time getting out of it, doing things a little bit differently and figuring out like what does and doesn't work and letting things sort of grow organically, because that's, I think, the key for a lot of things with me with journaling and planning and stuff, is letting things grow organically. I've talked about it. I don't like the to-dos listed on my pages. So yeah. But I'm happy to be back in, but I think what's going to end up happening as I go through the month of November, is that this is going to end up being more planner. Because right now I've been doing a bit of everything in it, and I'm okay with that, doing little doodles. If you've noticed, my doodles have been getting bigger and bigger. Like I was doing just little doodles, you know, and my doodles are getting bigger. So what I have, because you see edit, well, I couldn't upload because I had no internet. So I think this is the sort of practice sketchbook. This is where I did the live, what I did the live last time when I was figuring out my desk situation. This is where I did that. So I sat out at the picnic table this morning and I drew the barn. And I thought, well, I'll watercolor it. You know. And, oh, I need to change my calendar back there. because it still has, I still have October. I'm packing up stuff, y'all. There's boxes. There are boxes behind me. There are boxes everywhere. I've already started moving some of the boxes. So I thought I'd have a bit of fun. I thought I'd do a bit of some watercolor, just, you know, have some fun. And figure some of this out as I go through things. So I don't know how things are going to change yet. I just know that things will evolve. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Thank you so much. I did was in Rose class this morning, and I have a gnome to also watercolor, so we'll, depending on how much time we have, because, you know, I don't do well with talking and doing this stuff. But I thought, since I'd already drawn the stuff, it's a little bit easier when I'm not drawing and I'm just watercoloring for me to talk. And I don't know how, I watch people who do this, and they can draw and all kinds of stuff while they talk. So I don't know. I'm sick of the election stuff too, and while I've got the internet back, I was like so happy to have the internet back. And I told my son I was supposed to go live about 4, but they had just finished up everything, and I had to hit save because I have the Patreon preview for the YouTube video I have to put up first, and then I can put up YouTube's video. So y'all will still get 2 videos, maybe even 3 this week. But it's just gonna, I'm off schedule thanks to our lack of internet. And Tuesday, which is normally when I do videos for y'all, I had to watch the grandkids for a little while, and then I had to go vote, and I also had other stuff to do. So I was like, oh, you know what? It's time to get some of this going. So here we are. So I'm super excited. Not only do I have a new router, thank goodness they fixed my internet. I got out of Rose class, and as soon as I got out of Rose class, like 10 minutes later, the internet went kaput again. And I called the phone company back, and I'm like, look, I have no internet again. They were like, well, we fixed it. I'm like, well, it's not fixed because I'm back to having no internet. The light is red. And the guy, they sent the technician out here, and it was the router. I just had the router checked about 6 weeks ago, and it was fine. So I don't know, but I got a brand new router. It's one that they've just got in a few weeks ago, like a month ago, and they're so maybe this is brand new. Maybe this will newer technology than my old one. So maybe that will be good. Maybe it'll last a little longer. Eventually, I'm going to get separate internet for the barn. For right now, it's going to have an Ethernet cord run to it, but eventually I will have separate internet for the barn because I'm going to, you know, it'll just be better. But I can't afford to do that quite yet. We've got money to spend in the barn, and as long as it works, I'll be happy with it until I can afford to have 2 different things. So I'm excited though, y'all. This weekend we're gonna finish up a little bit of the electrical issues that we've got to straighten out, and then just some cords we've got to get moved, and then we're going to be putting up the paneling. We are finished with the insulation on the walls, and we have the paneling to put up. We've decided to do sheetrock on the ceiling because the paneling is so gorgeous. I don't want to take away from the paneling on the with some kind of thing on the ceiling. We're just gonna go with sheetrock, and I'm gonna paint the ceilings white. So yeah. All right, I'm messing stuff up over here. My sleeves. So I just had fun. I was like doing an illustrated kind of sketch thing of this, because the last time I did this, it didn't look so great. It just did not look great at all. I'm just gonna be honest. It was very messy. Bones Coffee Company's letting me know something, y'all. So, so how have y'all been? How's everybody doing? Anxious, doing well, long week though. Yeah, it has been a very long week. Been a very long week for me too. Feels like it does not feel like it should be November, and then at the same time, it feels like it should already be December. If that makes sense at all. It really does. It feels like okay. Today is day 1 of your second lockdown in England, but you've got to stay positive. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to end up with another. I don't know for sure, but it just... Okay, so the other week, you know, I don't know if... I think I discussed it, but I'm not sure. My husband had to get tested. And his came back negative. And I was noticing John Brush, his test came back positive. But he's not having any symptoms, and that's one of the things that I'm actually grateful he's not having any symptoms. You live in upstate New York, and the positive thing is we have some really nice weather the next 10 days. Yeah. Okay, so I live in South Carolina. And let's see what the weather says today. I actually have it. I don't know if I wrote it down. I need to. So today it's cloudy. Today the high was 75. The low was 53 for today. Friday the high is 75, 58. Saturday 78. Low is 60 Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Sunday 76, 62. Monday 78, 62. Tuesday 80, 67, and we're supposed to have rain Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week, and the highs are, it's all going to be about 80 to 78, and it's supposed to go back down to 75 on Saturday. So I'm ready for fall weather. This 80 degree and humidity weather. I like my sweaters, and I like fall most of all. Just y'all, I really do. I like fall most of all. Okay, that needs to dry while I so I think I have to do something here, but I don't want to be on that page all day since we want relief from that. So let's see. Put some right here. And it's cloudy, so I'm just going to draw some clouds. There we go. And then what do I want to draw? Today's been all about the router, so maybe I'll draw my new router. Oh, that's all wrong. Nice. You like living in South Carolina. Spartanburg. Spartanburg's chillier than here. I'm from Charleston originally. And where I live now is chillier than where I'm from. My nephew is trying to move out towards Greenville, but for now he's going to Boone, North Carolina. Okay. What I noticed about when you get up to northwest South Carolina, is that right? Wouldn't Spartanburg be northwest? I think. I'm not positive, y'all. So we're not that far away from Columbia. We're kind of like if Columbia, Florence, and Charleston made a triangle, we'd be slap dab in the middle of that triangle where I live right now. So okay, these are light gray, so this is black. Oh, Windows computer woke up. I need a glow in the dark blue, but that's gonna have to work. I need some of those very like highlighter kind of watercolors. You visited Charleston and loved it there. Loved the outdoor market, long tents, tables, crafters. Yeah. We took my mother-in-law there. My mom there. My mother-in-law. We took, yeah, and loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Want to go back. But COVID. So, yeah. we went to Charleston for our honeymoon because but I took instead of going to like the touristy places, I went to all the local places. I took my husband. We went around to like where the locals went instead of like a lot of we went to some of the touristy places, but we went to a lot of what we would consider to be more of the locals, like where the locals hang out, which was a completely different vibe than, you know, some of the touristy spots. Not that we went to both places, but it made it more fun because he got a taste of both. So it wasn't just one or the other. And he was like, well, I showed him places that I hung out when I was little, because my grandparents used to live downtown Charleston in a townhouse. And it was haunted. And so I took him around. Like, we went to Colonial Lake. When I was little, you could still fish at Colonial Lake. And my grandfather used to take us fishing. We'd also go and get pecans and blackberries and stuff like that when I was little. I don't know when exactly they quit letting people fish from there, but I miss Charleston. I miss being near the ocean, growing up on James Island and Folly Beach. I miss but I don't miss the traffic. I don't miss that kind of stuff. And every time I have to go back to Charleston and I have to go in the traffic, I'm like, yeah, I don't miss it. I don't like traffic. And the cost of living is a lot more now than it used to be. So, okay, I need some kind of bright fluorescent greeny color. So we're going to do this. We're going to miss this. Those are great memories. House was haunted. Okay. Okay, well, we can talk about that. When I was 5 years old, maybe, they part of the attic had been converted in the house, so it was sort of like a loft area. And I used to go up there and play. And I was sitting down at a little table with my tea set. And I'm having tea and talking. And my grandmother thought I had people over. And she's like, when did you have, and turns out, no, I was talking to ghosts. It was haunted. There were ghosts. There was a lady like in a weird time period kind of dress. It was big, fluffy, and parts of her boobs were showing. Now, remember, this is from a little kid's point of view, because I thought those were going to fall out. And then there was this guy, and he had chains on his wrists and his feet. And, but I didn't pay any attention to that. I was talking, I was having a tea party with them and talking to them, and my grandmother believed in that, but it freaked my grandmother out. She was afraid I would go home, and then my mom would find out I was having a tea party with ghosts. And, at first maybe she thought it was like imaginary friends, but no, I gave a description of some of the people who supposedly haunted that house. And, I was like 5. So anyway, make a long story short, I have been able to see, not all the time, but a lot of the times, I've been able to see ghosts since I was little. But it made my grandmother very nervous because she thought my mom wouldn't let me come over anymore. And so she was like, for a long while, she wouldn't let me play up in the attic. It was a loft. It was part of the attic, but it used to be the attic, but it wasn't the attic anymore, but they still called it the attic. So, yeah, some people believe, some people don't. My son doesn't. My daughter does. My mom does. When I was little and my daddy died, I used to see his ghost sometimes, and when I was asleep, I used to talk to him at night in my sleep. I talked and walked in my sleep. And most of my conversations were with my daddy in my sleep. So I still see them. I just don't. I guess as I got older, like after being a little kid and seeing them a lot, I tuned out a lot. So it has to be pretty strong for me to see them. As I got older, I didn't see them as often. And now, like, I try to stay away from places where I know I'll see them. Like, I don't go to haunted houses, because I know that I'll probably see them. And so far, I've never had any, like, negative experiences with it, but, you know, that doesn't mean I won't. So, I just am careful about it, but normally it's people that I'm close to. I do see them other places on occasion. But everybody has their own beliefs, but yeah, so that was interesting. Okay, this needs to, I don't want to use the heat gun. I believe, yes, but still scares. Let me see. Yeah, I have a friend who had some bad experiences, but I think because my grandmother was so afraid that I actually tuned out that. And then when my daddy died, I could pick up on him. And then when his daddy, my granddaddy, died 10 years later, I picked up on him. But until David and I moved in here, I tended to sort of stay away from places. But this house is haunted. David's dad's brother, his uncle, owned this house, and he died in the house. And I've been seeing his uncle since we first moved in here. He likes to play pranks and sometimes move the pictures and stuff sideways, and I just laugh and move them back straight. But he's got a good sense of humor, so it doesn't bother me. I just laugh and go on about my business. You get the messages. Yeah, I have two, Deb. As a matter of fact, a long time ago, about how old? My daughter was about 14 and she's 29 now. So I happened to be out in Columbia at a meetup, and there was a psychic there, a medium and a psychic. And she pulled me to the side. And she was like, you have two very strong male relatives. And I keep getting the letter M. Well, my daddy was named after my granddaddy, and both of their first names were Milton. And she said, and they stay with you, like, all the time. Like, you know, and they're very, very protective, very proud of you. And I just wanted to let you know that you are never alone. She said, I don't mean that in a bad way. She said, they're not, you know, she said, but you, so it was really interesting because that was my daddy and my granddaddy. And, I didn't know her, but she knew, you know, she didn't know, she was just like, I keep getting the letter M, which made sense because that was their names. And I didn't tell her my first name because Burgess is my maiden name. My first name is actually Melissa. But there's a whole lot of Melissa Taylors. And Burgess is a good name to do for my, like, writing and art and work and stuff, because I wanted something that is my name, and I felt I've been called Burgess a lot during my lifetime. So I wanted to use my real name, but I wanted it to be a bit different. And but anyway, I didn't tell her my name until after she was telling me that stuff. And at first I was like, okay. But then the more that she said, the more I was like, oh, okay. So instead of, you know, freaking me out, I was like, oh, it made me happy because, you know, that's my granddaddy and my daddy. So, but my daddy appeared to my stepdad, and, you know, my stepdad was wonderful. And, you know, it's just kind of like a, hey, I'm here, and I'm, you know, you're taking care of them. You know, it was kind of a, it was a nice thing. Should have done this and talked about this on Halloween. But we were busy doing barn stuff, and then we actually got out and had like a date. We went to a Halloween party. All right, this is my new router. I'm like super excited. That's a sticker from Bree. Actually, I like them. They're sort of clear plastic. These are different from her other ones. So I was actually, this was appropriate for, that's the bigger version of the crying, because yeah, no internet for 24 hours, y'all. My mom couldn't watch her soaps on Hulu because she watches them later in the evening, because we have Hulu Live, and there was no watching of Netflix last night. Antenna TV didn't want to behave either. So don't realize how much you rely on the internet until you don't have the internet. Might have to use the Posca pen. So I know some of you are interested in doing, if I do some of the videos where I'm packing up the studio, where I sort through things. And I was thinking about next week when I go live on Thursday, either going through them live or actually doing a video, depending on where I'm at in my journey with this. I've got pen cases, and I need to go through all my pens and see what pens work and what pens don't. And I don't know if that's something I want to do like in a live video, if that's something I want to do pre-filmed. I'm not sure. I don't know. What do y'all think? Sounds fun. All right. Either is fine, depends how you feel at the moment. I think a moving in video would be nice. If I were ready to move in, I would, y'all. Actually, I emptied out emptied out 5/8 of the bookcase. The red bookcase y'all don't really see. My son and I have 2 big boxes to go ahead and put up in a loft in the barn now. I've got, let me see. Let me move this for a second. Let's see. Let's go to my face. Okay. So now let me go back to YouTube. Okay. So can you see behind me? The date's not changed. You can see where I have been boxing up things. I've cleaned off a lot of the craft table and moved a lot of stuff. We're still getting things, and then I have more boxes to go through. I am gonna be doing, I've got some more boxes to put together so I can start putting the stuff in the Cowlex unit, but it's not really in the way right now. We're trying to get the things, I don't want to box up all my books, because the books will be easier to just like move over to the side and move the furniture in there and then put the books in there without having to box and unbox, because we're walking like 50 feet, well, probably about 100 feet altogether, because we have to walk through the house, because this is on one end of the house, this room. But I'm trying to work smarter, not harder with some of the things. But I am sorting through anything that's in a bin or a box or a bag to see whether I want to keep it or throw it away. Because some of this stuff is not stuff that I need or want to keep, y'all. I mean, see, like I have this, and I usually use this at Christmas, but right now it has, I just dropped one on the floor. It has a bunch of the, it has some of the thumb drives and these memory things. I also have a little tiny screwdriver, and I also have an extra thing of platinum carbon ink, which doesn't belong in there. And I have my little screwdriver thing for one of my TWSBI pens. And usually this stayed, oh, thank you. Usually this, I usually put washi in this at Christmas time. I take, this goes elsewhere. It used to go in my drawer in my desk. So I got to find a place to put these. And usually I get this out and I put washi in it at Christmas time, or I put potpourri in it at Christmas time, depending on whether I want to use it in here or in the house. Like out. But I think I'm probably going to actually put cinnamon smelling potpourri in here for the house instead of like on my coffee table. So I don't know, and there's like a lot of different things that I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. You know? So I think that turned out pretty well. Ouch. So, yeah. So, let's see. Last time, I have completely new, like brand new. I'm so excited. Alright, let's do this. Oh, that pen's not wanting to work. The Posca pen works, but that pen's not wanting to work. Do you have large scale paintings? Do I own any, or do I make them, or do I have some? I have a few. I have watercolor paper that I'm going to do. So I have, I guess I should go back to the other view. Nope. Oh, and it's gonna act a butt. Okay, now we're gonna put my face in here. Okay, no, don't act a butt. Okay. So I have this, which is Canson Mixed Media. It's 12 by 18 or 30.5 centimeters by 45.8 centimeters. And I've got 2 frames that will fit this, and I've debated over what I've thought about doing is doing swatches of watercolor with this. Doing and framing. I've also thought about sectioning off it into fourths and doing the seasons with like doing a moon and then doing seasons based on that. I don't know, I'm still kind of figuring things out. I like the 4 seasons and what the 4 seasons represent, and I also like the different, like the swatches of watercolor to go up on the wall in the craft room, not to mention some of the other things. You were thinking, have you thought of making your barn into a gallery? No, my barn has actually got to be, I mean, I could put stuff up on the wall where the furniture's, where I can, but I don't have any kind of pieces like that. Not really. It has to be, it's actually for function, because now that my mom and my son live with us, we actually need this bedroom for a bedroom now, which is why we got the barn. Because before, I didn't plan on getting the barn yet. I was actually going to get one in a couple of years, and we were going to do more work to the house first. But my mom's house wasn't safe anymore for her to live in, so it had damage, termite damage and stuff. So yeah, but I may do one wall like where I do some of my art. I am going to do some art to put up on the wall in there. I just don't know what yet. I don't know about this kind of detail stuff. I want to hold small art classes there. There you go. If I had enough room in there, I might would, but I don't even really know anybody around in my real life out here, you know, who actually would be, um, who even journals or anything like, I mean, like I do. I don't know anybody in my real life. I know a couple of family members or whatever that might scrapbook, but they don't live nearby. So yeah, I don't even know anybody who. All right, my new modem and router. Hello. I do want to, once I get to a point where I feel comfortable enough with what I'm doing, because I'm actually getting there. This is why I went back to doing what I do. Once I get back to doing this kind of stuff, I really want to okay, YouTube. It's gonna buffer for a minute. Okay. I don't know what it's doing. Give it a second. All right. Hopefully that will go away. For like 2 seconds. Okay, okay, good. So anyway, what I'd like to do, I like doing my journaling in the B6, but I wanted to go back for a little bit, you know, get back to like some comfort zone thing. I like doing little bits of doodles on my Hobonichi pages though, where I plan. But right now, as you can see, I'm just kind of, we're all adjusting. And I would like to create, your friend is in Myrtle Beach. She's an art teacher as well. She's holding art and journal therapy retreats. Oh, well, you're going to have to let me know. Myrtle Beach is like an hour and a half for me. It may not even be that far. Anyway, we go to Conway quite a bit. So what I'd like to do is create an online journal class, revamp my WordPress website thing, and eventually do it like where it's business, where I can do the classes on the website. Or I might go through like Squarespace or something where you can actually buy a journal class, a course for creative journaling. And now it's doing. Thank you. So I'd like to create a journal course, and we're buffering, so that it's just like creative journaling, and you can take it however you want, because I've done creative journaling. Yeah, I've done creative journaling where I do it on the planner pages, like all together, everything all together, like an omni journal. I've also done it like in the sketchbook, like you've just seen here. And, you know, like I've also done it where I do my journaling completely separate from the planning. So it's not with the planning. It's, you know, completely and utterly separate. Like this is, I'm morphing and trying to each time. Okay. I'm about to get off though because I got to start dinner. But I wanted to wrap my head around, go back to when I very first started doing this. Hello. When I very first started doing this, this is what I did. I had one notebook, pretty much, in a sketchbook, and I did, like, I started with the Hobonichi Avec like 5 years ago. And I like documenting my day. Well, I'm pretty sure that I want to still document parts of my day with the littler doodles, you know, like when I plan out the coffee chat, or when I plan out like my day, writing things down, like bullet journaling in the Hobonichi is what I want to do. And then I'll have, because I've got the Avec, I'll have a notebook that's separate for the longer things where I actually need to do note taking and stuff like that. But for things like this, I like doing, I love the Hobonichi for doing some of this. And I'm either going to make the weekly pages my to-dos and then do this for journaling, or I'm going to be doing more journaling like in the actual B6. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what I actually am, letting both grow organically. And I was like, okay, this week is the last week I'm actually going to do these priority things up here. So next week when I do it, I will put my to-dos on the actual weekly thing. And if I do my to-dos on the weekly, then that leaves room. Like if I have, this is this week. This is today right here. If I have this, all the to-dos on the weekly page, and I do the journaling on the daily page, then if I have extra journaling to do, I've got a sketchbook to do the journaling in. I've got other notebooks I can do more journaling in. I can use this front part as an index, use the calendar part as the planning, like where I do, this is November setup, like where I do that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't, okay. I set them aside, y'all. I set them aside. They're somewhere, but I've got to find them. They might be... Oh, I know where they're at. I did the pack. Okay. So my spiritual stuff goes in a completely separate one, but this is what I'm talking about. This is the Hobonichi Avec cousin. And I still have this day free for 2020, which doesn't, back in a TN, just a monthly, and experimenting with adding my weeks in my journal before my journal section and talks from the heart. She uses astrology. Yeah. This is, I've done all kinds of things in this. I've used astrology, I've used the Hobonichi, I've used the Hobonichi Day Free, I've used the Hobonichi Blank, I've used inserts. I don't care for inserts much because I write too much for inserts. They don't last for me. But I have extra paper and this, and then I also have a half a year astrology. So I think this would work really, really well for the actual planning out of things and the journaling out of things and that kind of stuff, like text journaling, goals, mind spills, that kind of thing. And then this So we have a, okay, like here's December, here's January. And then when we get to January in here, so I have some planning stuff here, and then I have to-dos on the weekly pages, and then I do the daily documenting of my life here, and then all the long-handed stuff or the extra bits go in here or in a sketchbook, if that makes sense. And then all that's left is the spiritual stuff, and then I have the planner, the B6 planner, where I put my mom's stuff in. And for 2021, the end of 2020 and 2021, I actually have my mom's stuff in this one because I have a clear cover that I can throw this in if I need to go somewhere, and I can just throw this one in my purse. You write a lot too. Yeah. I tried, and I also have this, and this is where I do a lot of my more personal journaling, my morning pages and stuff like that. Or I might go back through, I've done all kinds of stuff in this one. I'm just kind of in this, and this is the sketchbook. So I'm just trying to figure out, like right now it's playing around. Right now it's kind of like one book July, but I have November and December to play around and figure out how I really want for things to go, because I do have the Hobonichi cousin and I also have the B6s, so I'm kind of playing around with things and figuring out, because I write a lot. I am a text journaler and a documenter and a art. And I do all of it. Now some days I don't do so much, and it used to be that one page in the Hobonichi cousin wasn't enough for me. But now that I do my more personal text kind of journaling separate than here, well, I guess I should say here, you know, than I do here. I find that it actually works pretty well, because this is basically just a general, like the internet broke. I usually have a word of the day, a quote of the day. I have basic stuff that happened like in my creative time, what I did creatively, or, you know, I got to see the grandkids, or I talked to my daughter on the phone, or, you know, whatever. You know, the leaves are really starting to change colors here now. Like, we still got a whole lot of green going on. Especially for November, but I mean, South Carolina, it's still warm some days. I mean, 80 degrees is not fall weather, if you ask me. So I mean, I'm playing around because this is the crazy year. It's the dumpster fire year, and I figure if I might as well make the most of the rest of this year by figuring out. Because whatever, I've been back and forth, changing, flip-flopping. You too, all of it. And you've been oddly obsessed, stressed out, figuring out what to do. Yeah. And yet, yeah. And I think, so I made up my mind to go back to what was the easiest thing for me to do, and to start with the basics. Go back to what I originally started doing in the very beginning with the Hobonichi kind of journaling, and to let it go, to go back to my comfort zone, and then get out of my comfort zone, go back. Trees are brown and done here. Oh man, in New Hampshire. You have snow. Okay, yeah, like I said earlier, next week the high is going to be 80 degrees for quite a few days. We're also going to get a lot of rain. But this way, I get to ease out of the comfort zone bit by bit, and maybe the Hobonichi will end up primarily a bullet journal / planner. Maybe it will end up an all-in-one book, and then all the extra things will end up in the sketchbook, which is B6, or in the more personal, spiritual, you know, stuff this sticker, Brie, was perfect for today because it took me over 24 hours to get my no internet fixed. So I figure if I went right back to the comfort zone. Now I can spend this month and next month easing out of the comfort zone, because to tell you the truth, this year everything has been off. My journaling's been off, my planning's been off, my sketching's been off. So then I tried to force myself, and then I did it for a little bit, but then that fell off. And I think everything has fell off because this year is so off. So I was like, you know what? No matter what I do, this will not feel off because this is my comfort zone. Even though I hate to-dos. And then I was like, well, after this week, no more to-dos on these pages. Maybe I'll write my word of the day and then my quote of the day right there. Because that's what this weekly stuff back here is for. I can put all my to-dos, right? And put them in order of priority. I love them. And put them in order of priority. And I can, if I want to, use my mild liners and do time tracking over to the side. I don't know. I'm using the sketchbook for things like what I just did with the barn. You know, I mean, it's not the greatest. How far are you from Earhart? I don't know. I don't know. Every week of 2020 is a new chaos. Yes. I don't know how far I am from there. Let's find out. We'll do Google Maps. H-R-H-A-R. That's Bamberg. I am about 50, 60 miles, depending on where you're talking about. So Earhart Airport is 84 miles from me. Yeah. So it's not that far. About an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. But I'm going to touch up that. I need to make sure that my bulb is still a little yellow. And I'm going to go through, and I've got a brown pen. One of those Copic pen, fine liner Copic pens somewhere in one of my mini boxes. And I'm going to make the lines like on here because it's too hard to do them with the watercolors. Y'all, I've started boxing up stuff and now I don't know where anything is. Okay. Yeah, well, I have. Where? Yeah. I have one somewhere, and I'll go through and make the lines for that. And then I'm just kind of, I'm back and forth, playing around, kind of like it's one book July for this month and next month, kind of playing around and finding my way. And then I'm just gonna, you know, I'm still gonna use the sketchbook. I'm still gotta do my little gnomes, still doing, you know, whatever I feel like doing and playing around. And that way, so I figured this week, you've been reading a lot lately. Yeah, you saw a little quote that said, reading gives us some place to go when we have to stay where we are. My thought was journaling can be replaced with reading for you. It's a place to run away. Yeah. That is, I might have to write that quote down. I read a lot. I listen to Audible books. I journal a lot. I draw a lot. Drawing is my therapy. Reading is my therapy. When it comes to, like, but I'm trying to take some of the things that I know work and make things a little bit better. Because I was thinking about it. I was in a conversation and with someone, and I was like, yeah, I really don't know. I mean, especially looking around this, I have so many journals. What do I really want? You know, I've got a journal for Victor and a journal for Selena and a journal for David. And then I have, how many journals, you know, I mean, are my family members really going to want all these journals? You know, I don't know. I don't think so. They're especially not going to want the planners. And as I'm going through the stuff in this room, I'm like, maybe I should do, like, the planning could be different, where those notebooks could actually be tossed after a year. Like when I get into 2021, I could toss 2018 and 2019. You see what I'm saying? So I don't need the planners. But if I'm doing all this stuff in the planner, then it makes it more of a journal and less of a planner bullet journal. But then if I keep everything in one book, then it's just one book. It's not multiple books. So I'm trying to figure out and sort through how I really want to do things, because I don't mind having a sketchbook and the one book. I just really do not like this, but I'm doing it right now because I'm trying to keep everything kind of together so that I can stay together, so I don't lose my mind while I'm really busy and I'm spread like all over the place right now. Trying to do the barn, trying to do the house, trying to pack up stuff, you know, it's a lot. So I'm trying to stay focused, and even though I don't like the way that this looks aesthetically, it does help keep me focused. But if I'm get into the habit of doing that here, making my to-dos here, and then I've got the calendar for I'm a calendar person, a calendar and a list person. So if I have the calendar, and then I have my calendar and then my to-dos, and this keeps me, like, this is right here. This keeps it where I'm right here, and I'm like, that might work. And then I've just got one notebook for this, and then my sketchbook, because a lot of the other stuff is just for me. So after a couple of years, I'll probably toss it. Otherwise, our attic is going to be filled with bins of nothing but journals, and I don't want my loved ones to have to go through that much crap. I know what it feels like to have to go through a lot of stuff, and I don't want them to have to go through that. I don't know. I've just been rethinking. The midwife in you wants to tell you to just breathe. Yeah. You understand? I mean, my mom is moving stuff still from her house into this house because she's moved in with us, and it's just got me really thinking about what you leave behind and what you move and what you really want to keep and what's really important, you know? I don't know. So, and this year has been one of those topsy-turvy, crazy years anyway. So I just figured if I focused on what really works and have fun with it and not think so much about, like, you know, then I can have more fun, and it's less anxiety ridden, because anxiety is already real. I have anxiety, and then when you start adding in all these other things that make the anxiety increase, then you're talking about even more crap. So this year's just got my anxiety on edge. And I'm ready to be off the edge. I'm ready to be, like, more mellow, and, you know, today's word was for today. Today's word was quotidian, and then that was my friend Maya's name on YouTube, was Quotidian Light, and I was like, the Monday, you know, regular things about life. So that's where I'm at. I have internet again, thank goodness. I'm all happy. I got a brand new modem and router, and it's fancy. It's got a little bright blue light at the top of it, y'all, that glows in the dark. And I'll be glad when they get fiber optics out here. And other than that, I'm good. I'm going to get the sort of other video together, which will be a little bit repetitive of some of what I said in here. Yeah, it is a very bad year for a lot of people. So I'm just trying to make the most of it, and it's taken me this long to kind of get to a place. And I was like, you know what? Instead of trying so hard to get out of my comfort zone, why don't we just get back in the comfort zone and work from there? Just kind of let things grow organically, you know. And it is, so far I'm doing more stuff in the smaller sketchbook. I'm doing flowers and gnomes and the barn, and I'm actually doing some interesting stuff in the journal. Some of the stuff I put in the journal I really wish I'd put in the sketchbook, like the gnome and the anxiety woman and Trump, and you know, like this stuff I don't mind, but I'd like to do some more leaves. I'd like to practice with the leaves, and I did a really good job of this. This is actually this journal right here, and I think I did a really good job of that. So yeah, and I think I want to do some leaves and some trees and some squirrels, but I think I'm going to do that in my actual sketchbook. So y'all have a great one. I'm going to go. I've been on here for over an hour. I think we're all adding to whatever we are carrying. We're all in the same boat. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But I'm trying to make the most of it. I'm really trying to stop focusing on what isn't making sense and instead focus on what does make sense, and keep going from the what makes sense. Okay, this makes sense, I'm enjoying it. Okay, this makes sense, I'm enjoying it. And I keep, you know, if it's not making sense and it's not working, it's gone. If it is making sense, I'm keeping it or improving it, and I'm gonna let everything go from there. Y'all have a great one. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. It was a nice distraction. Now I'm gonna go make some meatloaf and some mashed potatoes. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.